EZGTR.
Hey everybody, I'm Dan Sindel, and welcome to Lesson 5 of EZGTR's Learning to Play Prelude from Bach's Cello Suite. And as always, if you haven't downloaded the score, I invite you to come up to EZGTR.com. Here you can sign up for our newsletter, and you can download and print the score, and that's what we're using, and we're studying along note for note. Now in the previous lessons, we've gone up to bar 22. So we'll continue from the middle of bar 22 to the end of bar 28. That'll be our lesson today. So let's get tuned up really fast and we'll get busy. I'll put the tuner right here in for you. And this is the Peterson Strobo clip, as always. Definitely check them out. They're one of our great sponsors. Cool. Now I'll hit you an A note. Alright, get tuned up and we'll come right back. Over the course of the past couple years, a lot of people have asked me if I'll ever put out any information based on how to read notes and how to identify them on the guitar neck. And I've really been taking this question pretty seriously, and over the past couple years I've put together a lot of information, and I'm really happy to announce that this is brand new. I put together a 29-page ebook that you could find up on my website. And it's just basically a quick guide, and it's a tutorial on how to read and how to identify notes on the guitar. It's got lots of charts, lots of graphs, lots of great information, and if you're a beginning student on reading notation or even intermediate, you'll find a lot of great information here. So I don't want to take up a lot of lesson time here, but I definitely wanted to show you this because it's brand new, it's very exciting, and check it out. Alright, let's start the lesson. That's why we're here. So as you know, last time we left off, we were in bar 22. We finished with this little phrase, and this is where we left off in the middle. Played this little phrase that sounded like this. Then we hit the bird's eye, the fermata, right there in the middle of the measure. I'll play that for you again. Then we just hold that D note. Then you look at the score, it says part 2 begins here. We are right in the middle of the song. Now the structure of these phrases are pretty interesting, and we'll kind of see there's a pattern that evolves as we go through the second half. But as you can see where it says part 2 begins here, we're actually starting on the third system of 16th notes, and the actual phrase will start on the second note, which is that low A right there. And we'll play these notes A, B, C. Then the fourth system of 16th notes will be D, E, F sharp, G. Then we go over to bar 23. And that very first note of bar 23, which is that A note, that will actually be the end of the first phrase. So it's going to sound like this. A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A. And once again, that A note is the very first note of bar 23. Cool. Alright, now bar 23. What we have here is the next phrase will now start on the second note of the first system of 16th notes. So we're going to kind of carry on the same idea, where our first note will be F sharp to D to E, which would be the last 3 notes of that first grouping. F sharp, D, E. Now the second grouping of 16th notes will give us an F sharp, G, A, B, and then the first note of the third system of 16th notes, which is that C note, will be the last note of that phrase. So we're literally playing from the second note of the first system to the first note of the third system, which will be like this. F sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. So let's roll back as a quick review to bar 22, right after the bird's eye where part 2 begins. That's phrase 1, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A. Phrase 2, F sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. Now let's move on. The third phrase will be the second note of the third system. We're going to start on this A note. And what I'm doing is, once again, fingering, positional playing is all interpretive. I've got a way I like to do it. As long as you're hitting the right notes, it's all good. So I'm going to play this again, and I'm going to do a little shifting of my hands for you. I actually prefer to shift into the 4th position there. Okay, now, let's look at the third phrase. I'm going to play an A note, then an F sharp, then a G. Then in an ascending pattern, A, B, C, D. So it's a little tricky as far as breaking it up and making it sound melodic. So I'm going to roll back all the way to bar 22 again as a quick review. I'm going to play where it says part 2 begins here. And then I'm going to play to the end of bar 23. Now bar 24 is a little bit more straightforward. We're just going to take a look at each one of these groupings of 16th notes. And the first one will be E flat, D, C sharp, D. So there's our first grouping. E flat, D, C sharp, D. The second system will tell us D, C natural. Look very carefully there. We are naturalizing that C sharp. System 3 will tell us C, A, F sharp, E. And the fourth system will say D, A, B, C natural. So I'll play that for you nice and slow. System 1. System 2. System 3. System 4. One more time and I'll slow it down. Bar 25 is very straightforward. Our first grouping of 16th notes will tell us D, A, D, F sharp. Grouping 2 will tell us A, B, C, A. Grouping 3 will tell us B, G, D, C in a descending pattern. Grouping 4 will tell us B, G, A, B. So let's review bar 25. Bar 26 is still very straightforward. Let's take a look at what we have. Our first system tells us D, G, B, D. D, G, B, D. System 2 tells us G, A, B, G. G, A, B, G. System 1 and System 2 will sound like this. Now System 3 actually begins the marking of a phrase which will carry us all the way to measure 28 and technically to the first note of bar 29, and that's where our lesson will end today. So let's look at grouping 3 of bar 26. Be very careful here. We have an accidental, we have a C sharp, then to a B flat, then to an A, then back to the B flat. C sharp, B flat, A, B flat. And then system 4 will tell us B flat, A, and be careful again, we have a G sharp, back to an A. B flat, A, G sharp, A. So let's go ahead and play systems 3 and systems 4 together. Very cool kind of melodic descending type of pattern. Now let's just review bar 26. Bar 27 still carries the same phrasing, so let's look at the notes. Our first grouping of 4/16 notes tells us A, G, F sharp, G. A, G, F sharp, G. System 2 tells us G, E, C sharp. Be careful of the accidental to a B. G, E, C sharp, B. System 3 tells us A, C sharp, E, G. We still have the C sharp. So we have A, C sharp, E, G. System 4 tells us A, C sharp, D, C sharp. So I'm going to slide up to a new position. A, C sharp, D, C sharp. I'll review bar 27 for you. And up to speed. Alright, bar 28, now we're just going to slide up to the 7th position. We're going to play a D, A, F sharp, E. D, A, F sharp, E. Now I like to slide into the 4th position for system 2. We have F sharp, A, D, F sharp. F sharp, A, D, F sharp. So systems 1 and systems 2 will sound like this. Now our last 2 runs will sound like this in a descending manner. We'll have an A, D, C sharp, B. Watch the accidental there. A, D, C sharp, B. And system 4. A, G, F sharp, E. A, G, F sharp, low open E. Then to a D note on the A string, which happens to be the first note of bar 29. I'll review that. Starting from the 3rd grouping of 16th notes of measure 28. A, D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, low E, and D note, which is the last note of the phrase, and once again, technically, the first note of measure 29. And you hold that. Measure 28 will sound like this. And I'll play it one more time. Awesome, that'll do it for today's lesson. We definitely covered a lot of ground. We're almost getting towards the end of the piece. Study hard. Definitely check out that quick guide to reading notes if you like, and I'll see you next time.